Blue Vision Tech, and I'd like to make a DMT video, on board DMT, as opposed to the ayahuasca or the pipe method for expansion of consciousness. I learned accidentally at the Ramtha Mystery School while learning CNE breathing techniques, the mystery school technique taught at the Ramtha Mystery School, essentially where we place our attention and hold our attention creates a quantum pathway, wormhole if you would, and through that aperture flows energy and encoded information. And I was doing that and moving energy up my central part of my body when I accidentally triggered what I was aware of as a DMT secretion. Now, I think if anybody has a DMT secretion without a context, it would be a very bewildering experience. And we wouldn't know what was going on. It's just so foreign and so unusual. Now, having prior DMT pipe experience, I was very acutely sensitive and aware of the unique DMT tells. And so I was aware that I was accessing onboard pineal secretions. So this put me in a unique position to further understand and explore accessing the DMT secretion. There are thousands of online accounts, people sharing their pipe DMT experiences, so I won't go into that area of it. But what I will say is that these onboard golden glandular secretions from the pineal and the regulatory or regulating pituitary gland, the pipe experience is absent. The pituitary golden gland influences over the pineal secretions, and this is hugely important. DMT without the pineal or pituitary support in regulating balancing mechanisms is really just cosmic joyriders out for, a wild trip. It doesn't give you anything that you can work with and integrate dimensionalities, quantum dynamics, causative dynamics in your life. And these tools that the DMT, onboard DMT provides are amazing. And in fact, amazing such that, well, let me back up a bit. I was a research scientist, a mechanical civil engineer for many years, built big construction projects, and invented energy technologies, patented them, and designed them. Now, I went from that with DMT onboard secretions into a gold precious metal making alchemist. Now, we all know the alchemists of old all describe various methods and practices to achieve making gold, and with the valuable benefits of the expanded consciousness bandwidth, I was able to achieve precious metals in the laboratory. So if onboard DMT can take a construction engineer, technology visionary, through all of the what you would call the inaccessible, the convoluted terrain that you have to navigate to achieve gold making in the lab. I only achieved that not with my intellectual reasoning, resources. I needed much broader resources to achieve that. And my onboard DMTs finally did that. Now, I used to have to sit down and intentionally, willingly practice the technique. It's a mechanical technique. Basically, the spinal column is a fluid-filled sac, and you just, with muscle clenching and then differentiation of the various muscles group, you grab that fluid at the base of the spinal column, and then you chase it one muscle distinction group over another all the way up until it applies pressure on the underside of your brain, causing the golden glands to secrete both the pineal and the pituitary gland. And you will achieve in time as you get better at this. It takes a bit of practice, but there's no detoxifying or decalcifying the glands required, just simple use. And this is a mechanical, proactive, active method. And you just push the fluid up and you'll get a secretion. And then every time you do that technique, the secretions will be larger and larger and larger until we achieve what they do with the pipe, is achieve what we call a blink out dosage level. And at that point, your bandwidth of consciousness goes from this conversation about 2,000 bytes per second up into the 2 to 4 billion bytes per second. Now, incomprehensible data sets at 2,000 bytes per second are really child's play at 2 billion or 4 billion bytes per second. And this resource was available in the past. The megalith builders of old, the mystics of old, left us the caduceus symbol. And the caduceus symbol was a real eye-opener for me when I was familiar with the caduceus symbol for many years, but never really understood why it was left and why it was significant or relevant. And there was all kinds of interpretations with it that still don't make any sense. And now our ambulance drivers and paramedics wear the thing ignorantly on their lapel, not knowing why that great symbol was left. And it's because the entwining snakes on the shaft, and the shaft is your spinal column, and the entwining snakes is the muscular pressure that you're able to bring to bear to move the God juices, if you would, up in to elicit the secretions from the golden glands. And I believe the ancients, the megalith builders of old, had the capacities, had the knowledge, had the mastery, had the training to utilize consciousness couple technology way beyond anything conceivable today. But they essentially took 35,000 ton granite blocks and moved them sometimes 500 or 1,000 miles, precision cut them and precision placed them, and achieved feats that we will never achieve in the next 200-300 years as constructors. Now, I come from the heavy, large construction world, and I can assure you that handling some of this very hard rock is beyond today's capabilities. And then just the scale, a big crane today would be 500 tons, and you put 2 or 3 of them together, and so you might get 2,000 tons if you're lucky. But that's to move it a few feet, not 500 miles. So our reality is, as the Matrix movie describes simplistically, a digital energy encoded domain. There is nothing here. When we smashed the cork, there was just simply empty vibrating space. And you could say it was empty, but there was energy there if it was vibrating. And where there's energy, there's always encoded information. So I see humanity at a juncture today, a crossroads, if you would, things are culminating and complexifying so fast and so all pervasive that the entropy that is on us today has to be transcended. Just driving further into the entropy cloud is not going to bring any solution. So the solution is for humanity to start training the kids. The kids know how to do this. They could be taught at 2 or 3 years old how to secrete their pineal and pituitary glands. And I think that's probably going to be my job for the next 25, 30 years. Having fun with kids, teach them how to kick up their bandwidth and get that all important pineal and pituitary gland functioning as it used to function. Thank you. I appreciate you watching this video.